Hi everybody. As you can possibly hear or see, the wind is completely nuts. It has been for the past several days and it's really annoying. It makes filming very difficult. I can handle the rain because I know it's good for the land and it's nice to just go inside, hide out, relax, but the wind, I still feel like I should be out doing stuff, but it's very irritating indeed. But enough complaining, let's go over my February update video. It was very positive and I'm excited to share all the stuff I accomplished in February and go over a couple things I'd like to do in March as well. So I had a really good mix of things this month. I did a bunch of stuff on the shower, I did a bunch of stuff on the tool shed, foundation, and lots of other random things, including some social things as well. So first up, just a tiny job. I pointed the back wall of my shower area where the pipes poke through the wall. That had previously been a gaping hole for a really long time, and I finally finished off the pointing work around the stones that I placed in there in January. So that was an easy win, and we like easy wins. Collected fig branches. Some friends of mine have a wonderful accommodation business called Quinta da Barraquinha, and they pruned a giant fig tree and they offered up the branches to me. I love fig branches. They make amazing kindling. So I chopped up the branches, I put them in the car tractor, I brought them back here, wheelbarrowed them over to my friend Sinead's place, who has a barn down the hill, and that's where I'm going to store them until next year. So very satisfying. I got to use the tool of joy, my favorite clippers. I love them. They're on loan to a friend right now, and he's a big fan too. I'm anxious to get them back so I can continue on with some pruning. But it was a really enjoyable job in a beautiful setting, and now I have loads of kindling for next year. I pruned my very first olive tree in February, and I enjoyed the process. I used my clippers again. I always love using those, but I can't say it was a roaring success. I don't think it was a failure, but the tree definitely looks a little bit funky now. But a lot of people in this area do very hard prunes on their trees, and it doesn't look so much different from some of the ones in the neighbor's place behind me. So it's not all bad, but I definitely need to practice. And luckily, I've got a friend coming to prune the trees at Sinead's place, and I'm going to help him out maybe for a half a day and follow him around and see if I can get some tips. So hopefully that'll be a way that I can get better at olive pruning. Cleaned my water tank. The water tank and the splash pool were both pretty gross after an entire winter of neglect. So I emptied it out onto all the trees on my bottom terraces, gave it a scrub. It wasn't as clean as I would have hoped because I lost daylight. I was doing it for ages, but I got it clean to a good standard, and I'll have another crack at that fairly soon and clean it and give it another layer of plaster and do some repairs on the water tank part as well. So I'm happy I did that. It's never a fun job cleaning the tank. I really should invest in a pressure washer, which will make that so much easier, but just another thing I need to save up for, so it's on the list. Tidied the top terrace and put up scaffolding. The terrace beside me where I'm building the tool shed was messy, and it's been messy for ages, and I finally cleaned it up. I finally put the scaffolding up, and that's going to be sort of a staging area for when I start the timber frame for the tool shed. So, small job, but happy to have gotten that done. Collected sawdust. I used sawdust for my composting toilet, but I wanted lots of sawdust to put on my garden paths, which I think is down here. So basically I collected sawdust from the local wood mill. It's one of my favorite places to go. And then I weeded a few garden paths, put some cardboard down on top of them, and dumped 4 buckets of sawdust onto those garden paths in the hope that that'll help suppress the weeds. So I'm going to be going back to the wood yard guy tomorrow, and I'll get 4 or 5 more buckets, and I'll just keep doing that every time I pass this place, and hopefully fairly soon I'll have all the garden paths covered, and hopefully I won't have to deal with weeds anymore. So that was a job I've been meaning to do for a long time, and it still is a work in progress. Going back up the list, I went to a sauna. Some friends and I organized a day out at a place called Casabella near a little village called Idania Avelia, and it's a beautiful place set right beside a river, so you can get out of the sauna, jump in the river, which was crazy. It was super freezing, and then get back in the sauna and be nice and warm and cozy. It was wonderful. We hired the place out. We all brought food. We shared a meal, and it was just a great way of catching up with a bunch of friends all at once and enjoying a sauna. And I actually didn't know I liked saunas so much, and now there's plans in the works to hopefully one day build a sauna in the valley that we can share amongst the neighbors. And something to completely contrast the sauna, I went ice skating with a few friends north of Cavilla, up the mountain in the Serra de Estrelas. There's an ice skating rink. Who knew? Not me. We went, we had fun, nobody fell down, and it was just really nice to get out with some friends and have a day out away from my homestead and do something that I haven't done in many years. I'm Canadian, we grow up ice skating all the time. It's always an outing that you do, and it turns out it's like riding a bike, and I wasn't zipping around at great speed, but I definitely felt pretty comfortable out there, and it was really, really fun, and I'd love to go back. Apparently there's also skiing up there. I like skiing as well. I'm definitely not very good at it, but I can't imagine the hills are too huge, so perhaps something to investigate next year. Prepared wattles for the wall. I have a wall that's going to separate my bathroom area from the living space, and I've basically just chopped some pieces of wood in preparation for building them up to put clay on it to make a wall. So that was just a little job that I did inside my house because it was raining right before I went ice skating, and yeah, it's just nice to get a little start on that job, which I'll probably do sometime in the coming weeks, especially if I get a rainy day. That'll be a good rainy day job. Unclogged the water tank. Such a small job, but it made a massive difference. I basically unclogged the overflow pipe from my water tank and freed up my garden from flooding, so now I can actually walk around down there. So that was easy, although I think I do need a better solution. I probably need to put some screen around the pipe, but for now, it's all good. So before I get into the exciting work that I did on the shower project, I just wanted to pause for a moment and say thanks to everybody out there who watches my videos. I really do love making videos. I really love sharing the work that I'm doing, and I really also love hearing from everybody in the comments. So if you're somebody that watches my stuff and hasn't said hello in the comments, just say hi. I love hearing from people, and as always, if anybody has any questions or any tips or anything like that, I love hearing them. I like interacting with people, and I've had plenty of amazing ideas from people in the comments as well, so that's always much appreciated. I feel like I love sharing the work that I'm doing, and perhaps some people are learning from me, but I also feel like I learn a lot from the people that take the time to make comments as well. And I also just really enjoy chitter chatter. So say hi if you haven't already, and to everyone who chimes in regularly, thanks. I like chatting to you, and I really appreciate it as well. And for anybody out there who hasn't yet subscribed to my channel, I'm on the endless pursuit of 10,000 subscribers. I don't know why I want to get to that goal. It just seems like it'll be nice, and it's taking a long time. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. And if you like my videos, give them a like, share them around, and all that stuff. It really does help the channel grow, and that's what I'm hoping to do. And if you really, really like my stuff and you want to give a little contribution towards the channel, there's a PayPal link below. That's probably the best way. And then there's also a way to give a super thanks. I think there's a little dollar sign or something in a heart below the video as well. So that's much appreciated. I'm currently saving up for a new GoPro. Mine is on the outs. There's something funky happening with the sound, so I should probably invest in a new one, and I'm saving my pennies for that. So if anybody wants to contribute to the channel, it'll be going towards a new camera eventually. Okay, enough about all that stuff. Let's get into the shower project again. This project has been ongoing for 16 videos now. Check the playlist up there if you want to see it from the very beginning. I started it ages ago, and it's nearly finished. And I've also done the tiling, which is the part that was scaring me the most. And in order to do that, I had to learn to cut tiles. I've never cut a tile in my life, never laid a tile in my life. I have no experience with anything to do with tiles. Luckily, my friend Roger does know a thing or two about tiles, and he showed me how to cut them with an angle grinder. It was basically as expected. I wasn't sure what type of blade to use, if I needed a special ceramic blade. He just used a diamond blade, showed me some technique, showed me how to not cut off my toes, and I got it done. So I learned how to cut some tiles, and that was, yeah, it's a nice little skill to pick up. I don't know if I did it well, but I got the job done, and practice will only make me better in the future. Routed the bathroom door. The router is a tool that I've always been kind of intimidated by. Never really sure when to use it. I had this piece of wood at the bottom of my bathroom door, and that just seemed like the perfect place to bust out the router and get some more practice with it. So I basically used that to claw away a whole bunch of wood at one side of the bathroom so I could lay full tiles instead of having to cut them. It was a pretty easy process. I had to finish it all off with the chisels, but I got rid of the wood. The router came in handy, and I got a little bit more practice with that tool as well, which is always good. Finished laying the floor tiles. I started the bathroom floor side of the tiling in January, and I didn't get it done because I needed to cut the tiles, and I finally got around to doing that. I don't think I filmed any of that process because I was honestly so tired of anything to do with tiles, and you'd already seen me lay the first part of the floor, but I got it done, and I used every last tile, and I got the whole thing covered, so there was no room for error at all, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I clipped the small tiles. I used mosaic tiles, 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter, to lay onto the shower tray, and I had to cut some to fit into certain spaces. I had no idea how I'd accomplish that with the angle grinder, maybe by taping them down. I have no idea. It would have taken a lot of setup. It would have been very annoying. So I ended up just getting the clippers out and chopping them down to size, and it worked pretty well. So another little job done, but an essential one. Tiled the shower tray. This is the one thing in the entire project that I was dreading the most. Tiling in general is tricky. Tiling with a slope in a place that's not really square in a super tight space. I didn't even know how I was going to do that, but I just got started and eventually I got it done. It was tricky. I had tiles stuck to me. Yeah, it wasn't enjoyable. I don't like tiling. I guess I am excited to keep practicing on projects that maybe don't involve slopes and small spaces. Perhaps I won't mind tiling a large open space using bigger tiles, but the shower tray really pushed me to my limits. It was a challenge, but I got it done eventually. As with everything, you just push through, and I have what I think is a really cool looking shower tray. Well, I had a shower tray without any grout between the tiles. Grouting was another thing I was afraid of. So I basically had never done it before, and anything I've never done, I'm always a little bit nervous. I approach it with a healthy dose of caution, especially when it's something like grouting, where it could all go sideways right at the end. Maybe I leave a film of grout on the tiles because I don't wipe it off quick enough. I really had no idea, so I was nervous, but I just did it to the best of my abilities, and I think the bathroom floor and the shower tray were grouted pretty well and look very, very cool as well. So I still have a bunch of stuff to do for the shower, but it probably requires that I buy the actual shower head first. So I need to go into the big city and pick that up. So until I do that, the shower will be on pause. But basically I have to do a bunch more liming of the shower tray, and I don't want to do that until I buy the fixture. One exciting thing is that my shower will be waterproofed using a technique called Tadilact. It's a really cool Moroccan technique. I'll put a link below if anyone's interested. It's awesome. I have no idea how to do it, so I don't know what I was thinking when I decided I'm going to make a gigantic shower and finish it off with a very difficult technique, but that was my choice. But magically, my friend Barbara and natural building mentor, who lives nearby in a community called Mount of Oaks, she's running a whole bunch of natural building courses over the course of the spring and the summer, and one of them at the end of March will be Tadilact. So honestly, the timing really couldn't be better. So I'm going to take that course, I'm going to learn from Barbara, and then hopefully I'll have the skills to Tadilact the shower at some point in the future. I'm definitely going to practice on little spots around my land before I tackle the shower, but taking the course is going to give me a big boost of confidence, and the timing is amazing, so I'm looking forward to that. The tool shed is the other massive project that I'm undertaking now. The sun is shining, the weather's turning nice, and I want to be outside, and the tool shed is something I started last year and just, I don't know if I gave up on it or if I just got busy with other things. The weather might have turned, I don't even remember. So I had a hole in the ground that was pretty small, and I decided that I wanted to dig it bigger. So I dug new trenches. I made the footprint of the tool shed a bit larger. I think it's going to be about 3.5 meters by 2 meters. So I'm happy I made that decision, and it was a lot of work to dig the trenches again, Nobody likes to do work twice either, so that was frustrating, but I did it and I'm happy it's done. Once I did the trenches, I laid the geotextile, which is this black fabric that suppresses weeds, keeps the silt out of the trench, keeps the sides from falling in. The internet said put it in there, so I did. And then I filled the trenches with gravel. This is what, I guess, the rubble of the rubble trench part is called. It's what the stones, the larger stones, will sit on. It creates a firm base. You tamp it down. There's a lot of work moving the gravel. Luckily, I had the pile of gravel just over on my front porch, and as an added bonus, that massive pile of gravel on my porch has reduced, and that's becoming a more usable space as well, so that's pretty good. I finalized my shed design. I wasn't really sure how I wanted to do my shed at all, except that I wanted to do a timber frame, but I wasn't sure which way I wanted the roof to go, or really anything. And to be honest, I'm still not sure 100% of the design, but I have the skeleton finished. I've decided on how I'm going to do the frame, and deciding that was a big step, so I'm happy about that. Same with the foundation. I knew I was going to do a rubble trench. I've done them in the past. I know a little bit about them. But then you build stones on top of that, and I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to attach the timber frame onto the foundation itself. So I came up with an idea that I thought was a bit wacky, and I wasn't sure. But after talking to my dad, after doing a bit of research, I feel comfortable with the idea. You can watch my last video, and that'll go into a bit more detail about that. But it's a weird idea, but I think it's just crazy enough to work. Moved rocks. My friend loaned me a little sack trolley dolly thing, and I've been using that to wheel rocks from all around my land up to by the tool shed. And I also moved the megastone, which has just been sitting in the middle of my top terrace for forever, and it's been annoying. So I used the iron bar and I shunted that off to the side. It was surprisingly easy to move, actually, with the iron bar, some leverage, some smaller rocks, and a lot of patience. It really is quite amazing what can be moved with one person. And last but not least, definitely not least, I made my first cornerstone. I grabbed a big old rock that I thought might be a good stone for the corner. It had a couple of nice faces. I knew which face would be facing outward, and I just had to chop off some stone from a couple of other sides in the bottom, which I thought would be a lot easier than it actually was. It ended up being loads of work, and making these cornerstones is going to be very time consuming. I did enjoy it. I don't love grinding rock. The angle grinder came out, so that was less enjoyable, but I also had the big SDS drill on the case, and I got it done. And it's going to take a long time to do all the other stones, but the way I'm doing the foundation, once I get the cornerstones in, everything else will be a lot easier. So that's that. That's my February wrap up. It was a great month. I feel like I did loads of stuff. I'm really happy to have pushed forward on the shower. Getting that tiling done is honestly a massive weight off of my chest. I've been dreading it for ages, and I think I even bought my floor tiles 2 years ago, and I've been dreading it since then. So getting that job done was really great, and getting started again on the tool shed is also wonderful because I'm really excited for this project, and having a shed built, somewhere to place my tools, somewhere to put a washing machine actually, will be amazing. That's a long way off. This project's going to take ages, but I've started and I'm excited. And so in March, I'm just going to continue with the tool shed foundation. I'd also love to get some wood out of the polytunnel and prep it, which basically means a little bit of planing, possibly cutting a little smaller, separating the pieces out, making everything square. I won't be doing anything too fancy in March with the wood, but if I can prepare a few pieces, that would be really great. And seeds. It's that time of year. I have the polytunnel. I need to make space, and I've got some packets of seeds that I'd love to get going in here very soon so that I can plant them out in April. I think for my vegetables this year, I'm going to do more of a variety than I did last year. The garden will be a lot smaller, and I'm going to buy my seedlings from the market rather than starting them myself. So there's no big rush on getting loads and loads of seeds going, but I really do want to get my jalapeno peppers going and a few other things as well. So yeah, March is going to be busy, focus mostly on the tool shed, and on rainy days I'll probably go inside and work on the wattle and daub wall between the bathroom and the shower, and a couple of other things as well. So that's it. That's my February wrap. It was a great month. I feel like I got loads done, and I hope you enjoyed following along on my many jobs, random ice skating outings, random sauna outings, and just general fun times here in Portugal. I'm really enjoying myself. I love the weather right now. I love the end of the winter coming into spring. It's a beautiful time of the year. If only the wind would die down, but we can't have it all. So it's been a lovely time, and I'm enjoying the work a lot. So I'll stop waffling on, as I always seem to do at the end of these videos, and just say thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate your support. Please do say hello in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.